a lot more into collaborative action and visions for a better world. And of course, in this better world, it's important to have strong personalities, and that's why we are saying a better me in a better world. And you now see from our team, Abhi, Shanta, and me, the team is a little larger and a very diverse group of people. And our goal now is to collect and search for thought leaders who have great ideas, which we can then mingle with change agents and with each other, and to create something even better and more coherent out of it. And the Ring of Alchemists is one format we like to try for this. And what is important is that we believe here now is a place during the next 2 hours to really co-create something together. And whatever we will create together, we will share with you afterwards, and want you also to share it with your communities.
So what is interesting to know is we have started FindingSustainia in 2010 and really got it going in 2014 when Anna and me started to do challenges. And that was actually a process of alchemy in which already integrated that VISH-ring process, that methodology that we have developed. But at that time, we weren't quite knowing that yet. What happened then was we had a vision, an aim, which strove towards that better world. And at the same time, we also looked at the obstacles and then came up with a strategy. And this is what WISH stands for, a vision, then intuiting what that's going to feel like. So we kind of get all charged up and motivated and up for the challenge. And then we start looking at constraints. We don't first look at constraints, but we do look at them. And then we come up with a plan. And that's a method that has worked very well for Anna and me. We started doing that around sustainability, how to become more plant-based, reduce waste. We've done that on an array of subjects, which we will not get into now, just for brevity's sake. And what happened is, because we both looked at the vision and the constraints, our results were pretty astounding. We had a large community joining us. That's something what we didn't think would happen. We just did it for ourselves. And then something about that approach was working. We later discovered in self-development, there's something similar called WOOP, developed by Gabriele von Oettingen. And that is a very similar mental contrasting strategy, where you start looking at the outcome, you start to feel, and then looking at the obstacles, and then you come up with a plan. What we also do is we align it with values. This is what the ring stands for. We'll later share an infographic on that. But the ring stands for the values, which are resilience, because that's what we need in that world. We need integrity. We need to have something nurturing, a feeling of we as society, and grit, which is willpower. And when these two aspects come together, a vision, process plus the values behind that, the results are pretty astounding. And this is why we also call it the Ring of Alchemists, because it's about looking at something realistically, pragmatically, so the lead metal, and turning it into gold by strategizing, by having these ideals, that vision, and then going for it. And the plan is a beginning. It's about having what ifs, having plans if obstacles come our way, but also having the agility to course correct when we stumble upon obstacles that we didn't quite count in. And without further ado, today we will go into a better me which leads to a better we and a better world through the lens of frugal innovation. And we are very pleased that we have our in-house frugal innovation expert, Abhinav Agarwal. So let's give him a little clap here and just express our gratitude that he is here to share his amazing knowledge on that. We have been Abhi is the CEO of Frugal Company. He gives workshops and talks around frugal innovation and is just an amazing human being, if I may say so. Abhi, are you ready for the presentation?
And just maybe to just give you an understanding of what is going to happen, Abhi will now give you a content and you will learn a lot about frugal innovation. And then we will guide you through the process Shanta just described. So you will get the feeling we hope you also think that it's something good and worth it. And we are looking forward to your input then as well.
It's always good to have you as my sparring partner, Anna, because that's a part I omitted to say, my excitement to introduce Abhinav. What we're going to do is he gives us an introduction to the subject, and then we introduce the method, and then you in breakout sessions can start exploring the first two parts, the vision and the intuiting, just to get you into that space, into that method, which you then can also apply for other methods, but we'll do it on frugal innovation specifically.
So I'd like to just add two more things to what Shanta has just said. So for those of you that don't know about FindingSustainia, like when Shanta was talking about the challenges, there were like 30-day challenges around different things like zero plastic or vegan or like not buying anything for a year. And that challenge model really caught on with the public, the general public. And so my approach to frugal innovation is also fractal, because in the sense, the challenges that we have at a personal level are a reflection, or let's say the world around us, the environment is a reflection of what we are. So quickly in the chat, probably you can all put in one or two words of what do you understand by frugal innovation. Simple living. What else? Come on, you've got two experts, Karthik and Ananya, on frugal innovation. Optimal decisions, looking for solutions that subtract. Low material consumption. Yep. So indeed, like the notion of frugal innovation being economically, not only in money, but in time also, efficiency, that are resourceful, a spiritual and grateful approach. It's extracting maximum creative solutions from existing resources. Very true. Indeed. So you've got it all. It's basically, we have another regenerative if possible. So in India, do you know how many gods we have? In India, we have a few thousand gods or more. And 36 crore, exactly. Thank you, Karthik. Crore is 10 million, so 360 million gods. And so even for frugal innovation, we have that many definitions. So I think with the Cartesian mind, it's difficult. We are always looking for a black and white answer and a definition. So I'll just share my screen. And I like to define frugal innovation with a metaphor. And in France, there's I think you should see my screen now.
it's still black.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So the metaphor I'd like to use is, in France, you have this delicious dessert called pain perdu, or pudding. And we see that in every culture, we find something, a way to transform old bread into something delicious. And this is frugal innovation is this philosophy of old bread or stale bread, or even in India, we use the roti or paratha in different ways to use it for breakfast the next day. So instead of complaining that, oh, I don't have anything, I just have some cheap resources available, how can you use this delicious creativity, or the key is resourcefulness, to find a solution in any situation? So it can be a product, a process, or a business model innovation. One of the references in this domain is Professor Anil Gupta, who has written this brilliant book called Grassroots Innovation: Minds on the Margin Are Not Marginal Minds. That means anyone can innovate, from children to poor people, old people, everyone. We don't need to be a scientist or someone with a degree to innovate. And he has listed on techpedia.in a lot of these innovations. So you probably know this story of the 6 blind men that in India that wanted to see an elephant for the first time. And for me, frugal innovation is similar, just like you put in your in the chat. What is frugal innovation? So first, it is a mindset. In India, we call this jugaad. In French, we call this système D, or here there's a typo. It's like the MacGyver mindset. It's also the way the entrepreneurs think, which is called effectuation. In industry, in manufacturing, we use Six Sigma, design to cost, design to value. You have biomimicry, design for environment, cradle to cradle, for conceiving ecologically products. We have reverse innovation, when an innovation done in India or Africa comes to the West. In marketing terms, you have the blue ocean strategy. So frugal innovation is a subset in blue ocean strategy as well. It's a bottom-up movement, a grassroots movement, the maker movement, open innovation. And then you have methods like design thinking, lean startup, and agile that can help you discover this big elephant. And in India, elephant is like is the symbol of wisdom, Ganesh, and this notion of sobriety or wisdom. And so we can use these different methods to come to a frugal innovation or a frugal solution, but we can also come to it with common sense, or in France, we call this like the farmer's wisdom. And the problem today is that with AI, social networks, we are in the attention economy, the lazy economy, and we are becoming lazy in our thinking. And that's where we need to bring back the ingenious and the resourceful part of innovation. So I'll give you just a quick case study. So in Bangalore, there was this NGO called Akshay Patra. So 20 years back, there were some people who observed that in a Krishna temple, there were some kids who were there for free food. So they asked themselves, why are these kids not in schools? And so after questioning, they found out that these kids didn't have, already it wasn't a priority to go to school because they didn't have enough to eat. And secondly, they didn't have enough minerals and all to focus. So they came to the conclusion that if we can provide a hot, nutritious meal to these children, they will go to school and thus improve the whole economic situation as well. And so they came up with this ingenious design of a building to cook food. So they would bring, for example, get the rice on top, and then going through different floors, it would get cooked at various levels. And at the end, you would have from taps, dal, like lentils flowing through. And so they had engineered a way to have food delivered at like a cost of 6 cents per meal, a hot meal, a nutritious meal. And at the same time, they trained women to do the accounting, to do cooking. So there was upskilling. They used latest technologies like IoT, GPS, AI, with co-creating solutions with companies like TCS, Accenture, to optimize the solutions. And so they found the SDGs chart is in French. So they found that just by focusing on one objective of delivering hot and nutritious meals to schools, they managed to tick off these 5 or 6 different sustainable development goals, which was no poverty, no hunger, good health, access to education, equality between men and women, and at the same time, as they had waste, food waste, they also went into renewable energy, biomass. So frugal innovation is also about this finding the lever, the little lever that can make a big difference. So now, through this, so for the last 5-6 years, I've been exploring like the chart with the elephants. What are the different methods and what's like unique to frugal innovation? So with this, I've created an e-learning, and I'll put in the chat the Shanta or Anna, if you can just put the link to academy.FindingSustainia.com. And so we are launching the first cohort on 4th of February. So every Friday there will be one lesson which lasts from 10 to 15 minutes, which you'll receive. And at the end of February or beginning March, there'll be also like a webinar with me to conclude. So for those who are interested, can send me a message and you can get a discount code for a launch event. And do you have any questions?
This is now your unique opportunity to ask Abhi all your questions. We have a good 10 minutes for that. I definitely got hungry for dal now.